Well, the last time we saw and talked with Kansas U.S. Senator Roger Marshall, he was giving us the play-by-play from St. Joe for the Kansas City Chiefs training camp. Senator, good morning. Great to have you here. That was fun last week. Yeah, I'm telling you, you missed your calling as a play-by-play voice. You could have been Mitch Holtis.
Well, I got to see Mitch Holtis. He's one of my heroes as well. He's from out there in Smith Center, Kansas. I got to know his dad through Rotary, but I remember the Chiefs play at 7 o'clock on Saturday.
Yep.
Watch early because I'm not sure how long Patrick's going to play. But, it was my first time to really sit down with Coach Reed and Clark Hunt and Mark Donald. What quality individuals these are, Pete. I just focused on the players' welfare, the community. I met a lot of people in my life, and these are quality people. Was just real impressed with just the hop and everyone's stuff. I mean, even the referees were having fun talking to each other, and you could just tell that this family atmosphere there. I'd encourage everyone to try to go out there. I think it's only like $6 a ticket or something.
That's amazing. It's a great way to kind of, and you're right up there. You're seeing the players, right? I mean, you're with them. You're right in front there.
You're going to get as closer than you'll ever get in a Chiefs game. So I don't know if you're 100 yards from them or less, but it's very, very, very close. Take your barbecue, make a day of it. It's a great time.
That's fantastic. Well, take me through, obviously, Senator Marshall, you got a little break here with the recess, but we were talking about this before we came on the air. Right now, you guys are trying to get some of President Trump's appointees through and just get them confirmed. And the Democrats are trying to play hardball with you here on this whole thing, where they want some of their spending, re-implemented, that you guys cut through DOGE in exchange for President Trump's appointees. So what is this game that's being played right now?
Well, Pete, it's inside game. It's extortion. I want to emphasize, despite Chuck Schumer's obstruction, and that's his number one goal here, is to slow us down. Despite that, we've had one of the most successful first 6 months of a president ever. We've passed some 9 major pieces of legislation. Think the Halt Fentanyl Act, the Genius Act, of course, the One Big Beautiful Bill. We repealed 16 of Joe Biden's major rules as well, and then still got 150 nominees across the finish line. But what Chuck Schumer has done is slow down the process. Typically, by now, 70% of the president's nominees are confirmed through a short process, a short pass, called unanimous consent. Mm-hmm. President Trump's had 0. Most of the president's 90% of them. So everyone comes through committee. The person that comes through committee with unanimous approval, typically those get fast-tracked through the Senate, but Chuck Schumer is making us spend 2 hours at a minimum on every one of those.
Wow. So, and just to be clear, did you do what Schumer is doing to Joe Biden's appointees?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We followed the tradition, and we had votes on, of course, the secretaries of all the different departments, the major positions, the major appeals court judges, but not federal judges. If the federal judge came out of committee unanimous, or ambassadors, if Ambassador Uruguay, okay, he came out of the committee unanimous, do we have to spend 2 hours on this person? So over 70% of Joe Biden's nominees were confirmed through this short pass process.
And 0 of President Trump's have been.
Zero. So They're trying to slow him down. And here's the deal. I'm okay with working long hours. We've done over 500 votes, a record number of days in session. We work late, we stay, but it takes our eye off the ball. Mm-hmm. We should be working on balancing the budget right now, Pete. That's the problem. So we need to be working on balancing the budget. There's 12 buckets to fund the government. We got 3 of them across the finish line. Before we left here, Susan Collins leads the appropriations process. She has 8 of those buckets passed through committee. Let's get those on the floor, debate them one at a time, so we don't do a continuing resolution, which is where we're headed. Again, the whole emphasis here, Chuck Schumer is jamming us. Why is he jamming us? Because AOC is going to primary him, because his left is running the party now.
So you mentioned that continuing resolution. What's your next deadline for trying to figure out, spending bills?
Yeah, so the federal government is the September 30th, October 1 calendar. So if we don't get it done by then, the government would shut down. We're not going to let that happen. Mm-hmm. If we do, it's on the backs of Schumer, because he wants it to happen. Don't listen to what he's saying. He wants us to shut down the government, and then he'll blame President Trump for it. If we can't get these bills through, then we'll do a continuing resolution to fund the government at the current levels.
Okay. Roger Marshall, Kansas U.S. Senator, is here. Saw this morning, USDA, RFK Jr., of course, is a big part of trying to make America healthy again. You've been a big part of this MAHA movement as well. They're doing a farmer's market in D.C. this week, trying to encourage healthy eating. What is exciting you the most about this movement right now and what it can do for the American people?
Well, it's the single thing that that's a good question. I think that it's driven by consumers. That, I'm not driving this. RFK's not driving. He's got a huge megaphone. I never believed that anyone could have if you're not the president. But it's people, it's consumers out there driving it. And for the first time, I have people in the White House listening to me. Look, if you want me to save Medicare, if you want me to save Medicaid, if you want me to drive down the cost of healthcare, I need America to get healthy. The problem with driving up the cost of healthcare, among other things, is utilization.
Yep.
So 90% of our dollars are spent on chronic diseases like heart disease, obesity, hypertension, diabetes, those types of things. So the way to address them is through eating healthier. Folks, throw away your ultra processed food. If it's in a box, throw it away. Try to eat fresh. Frozen is better than out of a box as well. Trying to work with my farmers here to how do we get to more regenerative agriculture where we're growing more with less. Look, we have lots of farmers now that are only using 40% of the amount of fertilizers and pesticides that they used to. We've decreased the drift from the field by 90%. So we're going in the right direction. And now my job on the Ag Committee is to try to help fund those farmers to do these major conservation practices.
And if I saw this, RFK was talking yesterday about how now they want to make it so that the SNAP benefits can't be used on basically soda and all these things that really are destroying people's health. So what we're doing, he mentioned we're spending $400 million a day on SNAP benefits in this country. And then people are buying stuff that's making them unhealthy and costing us more on the back end with Medicaid oftentimes, right? It's this vicious cycle that we're in right now.
Yeah, Pete, so that's our bill. So our bill that we'll get on the farm bill is to say that SNAP dollars cannot be used for sugary sodas. It's 11% of the spending, of the SNAP spending. 11% is spent on sugary sodas. And
wow.
Also we're trying to reward healthy choices, though. So we're going to try to double up on the SNAP bucks if you make healthy choices. Whole milk, cheese products, we're trying to get that on the list, but fresh fruits and vegetables, which I understand are expensive. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to double up on the healthy choices as well.
So how would you go about doing that?
So it's great. We already have local grocery stores. Hy-Vee is out there leading the charge here in Kansas City on helping us do that as well. But it's just a process that when it's all technology now. When you take your SNAP dollars in and you pay for that particular product, they give you credit for another amount of SNAP coupons.
Okay, so basically, if you buy healthy, your money goes further.
You got it.
If you have SNAP benefits,
it's just that simple.
That's just a no-brainer, and this is something we talked about in the wake of the big, beautiful bill, but the, Medicaid cuts, I put up my air quotes as I say it. This was really just about making sure that in that case, you had able-bodied people working or volunteering, right? Even volunteering was qualifying for this.
Right. So we've done 4 telephone town halls, Pete. I wish I could get you on one of those with me, maybe just to listen even. But we'll have 5,000 Kansans. We do these little polls. 70-80% of Kansans support work requirements. And so we do have work requirements that we've got passed for both Medicaid and SNAP. They're very reasonable. 20 hours a week is all we're asking. Why do the Democrats present this as punishment? Why is a job punishment? I thought a job brings dignity. It brings pride to a family as well. So you can, if you work 20 hours a week, volunteer 20 hours a week, go to school 20 hours a week.
Yeah.
So that's reasonable, I think.
That's more than reasonable. Roger Marshall is joining us on KCMO. The trade deals obviously have been a big part of the conversation as of late. As you look at some of these deals, obviously there are questions on whether or not these tariffs will be beneficial long term, especially when you look at the ag community. Where are you at right now on these deals?
We've made incredible progress, Pete. Certainly, we're way better off than we were under Joe Biden. Joe did 0 trade deals, right? So we've done 7 of the major 10 trade partners right now. 7 of the 10 are done. The ones we haven't got finished yet are Taiwan, and guess what? They need us really, really badly. India. No one's ever been able to crack this nut, India, but we need to figure that out. They're the fastest growing country in the world. Their economy is exploding. Lots of good things in India, but they don't value intellectual property. They still are intellectual property, just like China does. Mm-hmm. So we need to do India. China, with China, we have to August 12th. But think what President Trump has done to box in China here. So he's got the UK done and the EU done. But then look at that South Pacific brim: Cambodia, Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, South Korea, Japan, Australia. So he has boxed China in here. What what China was doing was transshipping. So they would make tennis shoes in China, ship them to Vietnam, and then Vietnam was sneaking them in here at their tariff rate.
Okay.
Well, guess what? Trump knows this. We all know that. So we will punish the heck out of Vietnam if they keep doing that. So we have China boxed in, and you could expect our grain prices to start going up this fall.
Really? Okay. So are you bullish on what this will do, say, for the ag sector in Kansas, or do we have to wait and see?
Oh, I'm absolutely bullish. Look, the ag sector is not going to survive doing what we were doing. Under Joe Biden, we had a record drop in net farm income. So between these trade deals and dropping the interest rates, that's what the farmers, of all the things I could do for the farmers right now, and really small businesses, is drop the interest rate. The average Kansas farmer, $1 million operation loan, we saw that interest rate go from 2 to 9%, and then they had zero profit. Literally, the average Kansas farmer, $70,000 a year profit, so that ate up all that profit. So those are the two focuses: get the interest rates to come down because the economy is growing. The other thing I'm seeing, Pete, is lots of manufacturing jobs coming back to Kansas. We toured some 12 manufacturing companies. Maybe they're 50, maybe they're 400 employees. They can't keep up with the orders. Now, the only challenge we have is they don't have enough employees for the jobs, and we're having problems getting aluminum and steel, but we're working on that.
Okay. All right. Very good. Now, I know last week we had a jobs report, wasn't great. There's some concern on what exactly that means going forward. I know the big, beautiful bill you're bullish on. Do you think this is just a bump in the road when it comes to hiring in this country for a month, or are there long-term concerns there?
Look, I think we were all surprised with the job report. I don't have much confidence in the job reports, as you can imagine. This person that did the reports after the election in November, she showed these great numbers for Biden right before the election, and then she revised them down by 800,000. These jobs, I don't like the way we report them. They include government jobs as well as part-time jobs. You know, part-time jobs are great, but to sit there and say, so Joe Biden's economy was built on government jobs and part-time jobs. So what I'm seeing now with no tax on overtime from the one big beautiful bill is these manufacturing companies have people willing to stay and work longer, so they don't because we don't have the people to hire. But part of that jobs reports reflects that the government's getting smaller. And I think that's a good thing as well. So I think that the summer job numbers always go down, good GDP growth. What I'm really proud of is that net income is going up right now. So people's income is going up faster than inflation. Gas prices stable, grocery prices are stable. I think the good economy, I'm going to say it's treading water. I'm not satisfied. We've got work to do.
Roger Marshall, last thing here in the final minute. What do you have going on around town today?
Oh gosh, we'll start out at Johnson County Community College. I'm sure you recall, Pete, I'm a community college graduate. My wife graduated from community college. Everything I did professionally, I owe to education, and so grateful for those teachers and coaches and the great family. But they have a new president at JOCO, so I want to go say hi to him. And then I think there's a new grade school, Tomahawk Grade School. We were out yesterday in Topeka, have a new middle school opened out there at Washburn Rural. So it's kind of seeing these new schools. The kids are coming back next week as well. We'll make a couple other stops on the way as well, but it's great to be back here in the Metro.
Well, we appreciate you coming in the studio this morning, Senator. Thanks so much.
You bet, Pete. It's great to be with you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Roger Marshall on KCMO.